Hey guys, what's up? Danielle Alvari out here on the most beautiful campus on earth, really, outside of historic Pauley Pavilion, and I am joined today by none other than the amazing author of the UCLA Basketball Encyclopedia, Spencer Stueve. Spencer, thanks so much for being here today.
Hey Danielle, thanks for having me on.
Great. So I have to start by asking you, what inspired you to write this amazing anthology about UCLA basketball?
Well, I've always been interested in UCLA sports history. I started with football, wrote the UCLA Football Encyclopedia last year, and kind of wanted to branch out and move on to basketball. And it's UCLA's top sport, their most recognized sport, they're one of the most successful sports on campus. So I wanted to move on to that, and I'm excited to get it out there for everybody.
Yeah, you mentioned the success of this program. It's safe to say that the success of this UCLA basketball program will never be duplicated. So how special was it to write about a program that's steeped in so much tradition?
Well, I know that the people that are going to read the book, they have such a vested interest in learning more about UCLA, because some of this success is so long ago that maybe they don't really know about, Gail Goodrich and Walt Hazzard, or even the pre-Wooden years.
I'm guilty of that. I haven't finished yet. I haven't finished.
But it's something that I know everyone really is excited to kind of dive into. So I really wanted to get it right and tell the whole story from the beginning until now.
All right. Well, so is it safe to say then that you are a UCLA basketball expert?
I think I'm a UCLA football expert
Okay.
and trying new things. And I think that I think this basketball one, it's the most detailed, extensive UCLA basketball book ever written. So I don't know how I would label myself. But the book's got it all.
You literally wrote the book on it, so we're going to put you to the test.
Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to start by quizzing Spencer here. Literally wrote the book on UCLA basketball about UCLA basketball. So, do you think you're ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we'll see. Who was the first ever UCLA basketball coach?
That's Fred Cousins. He was the football coach and the baseball coach, too.
Okay.
He did it all.
All right, so how was he able to manage all of that?
It wasn't quite the same back then. He was a teacher too, so he was doing a lot of everything. The hours not quite the same in 1919 as they are now.
How do we think Chip Kelly would handle having to coach the basketball and the baseball teams too?
I think he'd be a little stressed about it.
A little more stressed than he is right now. Question number 2: who was the first person to be inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame as a player and a coach?
That's John Wooden.
Okay.
And he was at Purdue as a player and then at UCLA as a coach.
All right.
I was scared for a second. I wasn't sure. And then it came to me.
Okay, we'll see. Let's see. We got all right, before I ask you my next question, I have to ask, what is your favorite John Wooden quote?
My favorite one, it's not really basketball related.
That's fine.
It's the best thing a father can do for his children is love their mother.
Oh, that's
kind
of
mushy,
one.
but it's a good one.
But yeah, that's a great one. There's no bad ones.
There's no bad ones. There's so many good ones.
Yeah. I think my favorite is be more concerned with your character than your reputation.
It's a good one.
Because your character is what you really are and your reputation is merely what others think you are.
There you go. You're right on.
You can't have a wrong Wooden quote. You can't have a bad one. All right. Third question. Which year was the first year UCLA won a national championship in basketball?
1964.
You couldn't even wait for me to finish the question.
30-0, undefeated.
Couldn't even. 1964, yeah.
My favorite team to study.
Why is that?
Because it was the first one, and they were so much different than some of the later ones. When they had Lou Alcindor and then Sidney Wicks and Bill Walton later, those were kind of teams built around a big guy. But the 64 team, they were small, full court press, exciting, scored a lot of points, played great defense. Just a really exciting team.
That's a fun team to cheer for.
Yeah.
All right. Which UCLA basketball game was dubbed the game of the century, and why?
UCLA versus Houston, 1968. Played in the Astrodome in front of a huge crowd.
Over 50,000 people.
Yeah. And unfortunately, UCLA lost. Lou Alcindor had just injured his eye.
Ah.
And
was there a rematch though?
No. Then they had a rematch later in the year in the tournament, and UCLA won by 20-something points. So,
yeah, in the Final Four.
So it worked out.
Yeah, we weren't that upset about that loss. And I think they went on to win the championship.
Went on to win the championship.
Yeah, so not a tough
many.
loss. Wasn't a sting that lasted a long time.
They got over it.
Yeah. All right, finally, last one. This is going to be the one. I think this is going to be the one that gets you.
Okay.
This is like a little bit more obscure. This is only the deep dive UCLA fans might know. Which UCLA player was the National Player of the Year in 1970 and 1971?
Sidney Wicks.
Okay, well, so, all right.
And Sidney Wicks, what's exciting to me, what I like about Sidney Wicks is
How do you know who Sidney Wicks? Okay, he wrote the book on it.
I wrote the book. So you've got, if you look back now, then everyone could see that, okay, you had Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and you had Bill Walton, and you could see how they would win in those years when they're considered the top 2 players ever.
Right.
But then you've got a little gap in there, and it's like, oh, what are they going to do from getting from Alcindor to Walton?
Right, because he wasn't allowed to play as a freshman, correct?
Right, neither of them. So,
right.
Then in 1969 was Alcindor's last year, and 1972 was Walton's first year when he was eligible as a sophomore. And so then you got 70 and 71, UCLA wasn't a sure thing, because by 68 they were a sure thing. They had gone undefeated in 67, and then it was the same thing in 69. They won in 68, everyone knew they were going to win again.
Right.
Then Alcindor's gone. It's like Sidney Wicks was a player on the 69 team, and he was important, but he stepped it up in 70 and 71 to a level that no one expected, and he's probably the 3rd best UCLA player of all time.
Wow.
So it was really, I mean, he filled that gap, and then it's like, okay, they went from 3 in a row to 5 in a row. Now you've got Walton coming in, and Keith Wilkes, later Jamal Wilkes, come in that 72 team, and they just kept it rolling.
Okay, well, I'm sold. You're the expert. He's the expert. This is the UCLA Basketball Encyclopedia expert. Spencer, is there anything you don't know about UCLA basketball? I mean, what else can you tell us?
Well, I think everyone's got to read the book, and they'll find out all the stuff they didn't learn today is all in there.
Okay, all right. Well, you heard it from the author himself. Make sure you go out and buy Spencer's book, the UCLA Basketball Encyclopedia. Be quick, but don't hurry.